And when COVID lockdowns threatened the freedoms of families and businesses and the mental health of Canadians, I was one of the only big city mayors to speak out and demand an end to restrictions.
Well, friends, the mayor of Brampton, Ontario, Patrick Brown, is officially running to be the leader of the Conservative Party of Canada, which means he obviously wants to be the Prime Minister. So naturally, he's positioning himself to be the anti-Trudeau, a populist anti-lockdown candidate. But I have access to information documents detailing the costs and outrageous lengths Brown went to in Brampton to catch and punish people just trying to be outside or have a little fun during the COVID scare. And to be clear, I don't have a horse in this race. You might be able to surmise who I don't support, but I'll give you honest reasons why. But I don't cheer for politicians. I cheer for the people. I want a robust economy, strong protections for civil liberties, and to generally be left alone by everybody, but especially the government. My political philosophy is mind your own business. Okay, now that that's out of the way, back to Brown. For him to be able to rebrand as an anti-lockdown politician, well, that means Conservatives need to forget literally everything they know about him and how he was a brutal lockdown enforcer in Brampton. In 1 week alone, Brampton bylaw officers handed out $112,000 in COVID tickets. Brown militarized the parks, fencing them off like Alberta Premier Jason Kenney did to Grace Life Church. And Brown stationed private security guards on location to make sure no little kids got the wrong ideas. Remember this?
Well, folks, we're now at Chingukausi Park in Brampton. And, Patrick Brown, he doesn't fool around with police caution tape when it comes to the playground equipment. As you can see, he's got steel and wooden fencing completely sealing off the playground area. And not only that, folks, just in case some of the citizens aren't listening to his worship, check that out. We have hunted down the hunters.
Brown spent much of the pandemic taking out his lockdown hysteria on the city's children while secretly dodging his own restrictions, that is, until such time as David Menzies caught him in the act at the rink. Remember this?
We're getting the bum's rush, but holy mackerel, I think I see Patrick Brown himself.
Oh, hey, how you doing?
Mr. Brown, right?
Yeah.
David Menzies with Rebel News.
You're in a city facility?
What's that?
You're in a city facility?
Yeah, so are you.
Yeah.
So, are you playing hockey here, or?
No, I'm just coming to check in our facility. So we're gonna check you. You're not supposed to be here, actually.
Okay. We were told that you play pickup here. Mr. Brown, how come the kids in Brampton can only practice sports, but your buddies can play hockey?
Yeah. So, I don't know why you are harassing people in the city of Brampton, but you shouldn't be.
Oh, who's harassing who? Your guys handed out 122 bylaw violations in 1 week. Mr. Brown, why is there a hockey game going on in this arena? I thought you're only allowed to practice sports, not play them. And who is paying the $1,000 a day, Mr. Brown, for this rink? Mr. Brown?
That's right. Patrick Brown, as the mayor, was fencing off parks and hiring guards to keep little kids off the soccer fields while keeping a private ice surface in a public arena for himself and his hockey buddies to play the sport they love away from the restrictions Brown imposed on the good people of Brampton. It was positively Trudeaupian. So at Rebel News, we did what we always do. Now, months ago, we filed for access to information about the private security contract with Paladin Security to brutally enforce the lockdown in Brampton at the behest of Patrick Brown, who is now dishonestly trying to rebrand himself as somehow anti-lockdown from the beginning. We got back about 450 pages of documents from the city of Brampton regarding their communications with Paladin Security. Now, if you'd like to contribute to offset our research and filing fees, head on over to rebelinvestigates.com to make a donation. We'll go through some of these documents today, and I'll publish the documents in full. Maybe some other candidates want to have their teams go through these documents. Maybe some journalists got curious and they want to take a look. Maybe some Brampton residents want to see exactly where their property taxes are going. Or maybe you want to follow along and fact check me in real time. That's okay too. Let's get right into it. Page 9 is a memo from Paladin on COVID. They wanted to cut security personnel by 25%. So they offered to send unlicensed people instead, or the city could pay extra for actual security guards. Look at this. We're counseling our partners where possible to develop plans that will allow you to continue to operate and enact your pandemic plans with a 25% reduction in staffing. Where that is not possible, we would like to have open discussions about alternative options, such as the use of unlicensed workers for non-security functions, the use of subcontractors or temporary workers, or elevated bill rates that will help us to incentivize staff to accept this work that may place them at additional harm. At this time, we are proposing a pandemic bill rate of $55 per hour for clients who are unable to utilize alternative staffing plans for their COVID-19 related special coverages. If you do not engage with us to discuss potential alternative staffing strategies, we will assume that this is an acceptance of this proposed rate and will bill all COVID-19 related coverage at this elevated rate. Page 10 is an email confirming the extra fee to get all that extra security during COVID. Page 11, Paladin is discussing possible protests in June 2020 in Brampton, with lots of info coming in their hunt. Page 16, city officials wanted to send a Paladin security guard to the Brampton Soccer Center weekdays 10:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. to combat high school kids using drugs and other negative things, because teenagers would never do anything negative after 1:30 in the afternoon on a Tuesday. Have these people ever met a wayward teen? Anyway, page 21. Starting on page 21, you can actually see the billing plans for the contracts. A lot of it is redacted, but it is estimated at $12.1 million per year to enforce Patrick Brown's Brampton police state. Page 29, you can see that Paladin built in an automatic inflation escalator into the contract, a 2.5% increase to the bill and 2% to the staff. On page 84, the city of Brampton acknowledges the outrageousness of the cost of Brown's lockdown mercenaries. They call the fees exorbitant. On page 85, city bureaucrats are expressing concerns raised about guard quality and training. Look at this. Concerns. Guard quality has improved but still needs improvement. 2 positions were converted in order to create a downtown patrol team, and I am not confident in their abilities, nor do I believe they are a higher caliber than any other guard. Wow. Page 380, the city is sending security to the park in case people start taking pictures of the trees and aren't socially distanced. We won't be taping the trees. What does that even mean? But I thought I would pass along, as security may want to do more patrols at this park to ensure people still follow the social distancing practices once the trees go into bloom. Typically, we see a lot of people at this park taking pictures once the trees start flowering, which will be fairly soon. There is a chance, if lots of people show up, that social distancing may not be followed in the park. Page 388, the city actually sent security to make sure people with dogs in a park were socially distanced. During this patrol, we will be enforcing the COVID-19 social distancing protocols as we would for any other site, as this facility and exterior sports fields are closed to the public. During our site assessment, we frequently observed dog owners attending the fields with their pets. Please ensure that we are addressing this issue as of tomorrow at 8 a.m. Page 404, these are the rules the city of Brampton imposed on people getting marriage licenses during COVID. And it was a lot more stringent than the rules that were applied to Patrick Brown's buddies playing hockey at the rink. No public washrooms, only one person from the couple could enter the city building, and they had to get a health screening. Page 424, the ghouls from the city of Brampton were sending security to the cemeteries to ensure social distancing. Look at this. Can you please schedule the following shifts to assist with social distancing at the Brampton Cemetery as indicated below? And then they indicate they need 2 guards to make sure mourners weren't comforting each other. All this under Patrick Brown's watch, while he now tries to gaslight conservatives across the country into believing that he was a bright, shining anti-lockdown light in the darkness of municipal COVID tyranny. That's almost as unbelievable as the time he told us he was just inspecting the ice surface with his hockey bag and all of his hockey buddies.
You play hockey here? Or?
No, I'm just coming to check in our facility. So we're gonna check you. You're not supposed to be here, actually.
This information debunking Patrick Brown's ridiculous campaign claims was only made possible through your support of our access to information and investigative journalism. To make a donation to offset our research and filing costs, please visit rebelinvestigates.com. And to follow along and support our independent coverage, please be sure to visit leadershipreports.ca. For Rebel News, I'm Sheila Gunn Reid. During the Conservative leadership campaign, you can count on Rebel News to hold Conservative politicians to account on behalf of Conservative voters. You're going to see honest, fair criticism and tough questions from us. To follow along with our independent coverage and to support our independent journalism, please visit leadershipreports.ca.